Well, here we are, back from a break and following on from Norm, which means they're all nice and relaxed and free of all our chronic stress, which is nice. Yeah, that's it. Just that's it. Double breath out. It's all good. Yeah. And it is all good because I had an amazing day yesterday. A day like you wouldn't believe, like a life-defining day. Jai was there, Norm was there, so they know what I'm talking about. Yeah, yesterday I got baptized. Yes, thank you. Yes, long time coming. Been working towards that in various forms for years now. Finally came together, and yeah, it's a funny thing because it's like, you know, I'm in my late 30s at this point. Normally, as a baby, you get baptized. That's the way it's typically done. But as the church says, there's no, you're never too late to do this. Just because the typical thing is it done as a baby, you can come to it at any point. It's never too late. It always comes in the right time, and it did feel like the right time, which was good. Really felt like a bunch of things coming together rather nicely. And so that was morning, and you can imagine the morning's a bit sort of chaotic because I'm preparing for that. I'm at church, that's happening. So had breakfast after this. So my breakfast was at 12:30 and involved like tapas and wine. So my breakfast was like chorizo in like a white wine sauce, and it's really yummy other little things, and I just like the idea of wine for breakfast. That's quite cool. And I often do things like that. I'll have, you know, like meat, veg, and rice for breakfast. I was like, well, you know, do I ever eat cereal? Yeah, and if I do, it's going to be like dinner time. Because like in the morning, I'm motivated. I've got the energy. Like I'm disciplined. It's like, yeah, I'll cook something or whatever. And then by the time evening comes around, it's like, bowl, milk, eat. Like it works. You know, people say that that's only your breakfast food, but yeah, it's been a long time since I subscribed to that. And on top of all of that, I've also recently published another song to my YouTube channel, which is really cool. You mentioned AI before, so I like to write song lyrics, and then AI turns them into, you know, puts the melody to it, does the vocals, instruments, like really cool stuff. And I like that that's an option because I really like writing. You know me at all, you know that I really like writing, and it's this fun thing. The music part of it escapes me still, but the writing is really cool. And writing song lyrics is very different from anything else that I've ever written before. And it's this really interesting creative task where often I'll write something, I'm like, that is like a banger of like a quartet of lines, that is so good. And then I might intend that to be a verse, but I'm like, no, that's so good. That's going to be the chorus. I'm just going to move it. Or something that was going to be the coda, so the end of the song. I'm like, no, that has to. That's so punchy. That has to lead. Like that's got to get people in. And so like I say, it's been a really good couple of days. I'm feeling jazzed up. It's all really nice. Now, I know you all have at least some experience with hypnosis. You've hypnotized people before, intentionally even, which is a bonus. And you also know that I've been studying hypnosis for 8 years or so now, more than 8 years now, which is rather nice, from a variety of people from a variety of schools. And there's this one little thing that I picked up along the way. It's like, this is gold, and some other people have applied this, but I haven't really heard many people talking about this. So I'd like to share that with you all, if you're interested in some hypnotic experiences. Getting lots of nods, getting double thumbs up from Blaženka. So, who would like to have a hypnotic experience right now? Yeah, come on up.
Oh,
yeah.
We just can't help ourselves.
Yeah, so come on out and face our friends here, and thanks Jack for coming up. So you know what hypnotic experiences are like. So you might have something in the back of your mind, or maybe even the front of your mind, where it's like, this would be nice if this was changed. More of this, less of this, whatever it is. You don't have to tell me what it is. You've just got something, and it's going to be like really great when you get this change, isn't it? Because this is the change that you want, and it's just going to be so amazing, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be one of these things where it's like you have this, because I'm sure this affects like multiple parts of your life. Yeah, fantastic. Like the best changes always do. And so you can imagine like tomorrow, if you had this change, like that's going to be at least a pretty good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And so the day after that, if you've had that change for a day already, and then you've still got that change, it's going to be a bigger and bigger change. It's going to be even better. It's just going to be it's just going to get even better over time. Because I'm sure you're aware of like how compounding things are. Like you make a 1% improvement tomorrow, and then the day after that, how amazing is that going to be? The day after that, like a years of this change. It's going to be incredible. The people in your life, like how are they going to respond differently to you having this change? Like, are they even going to notice consciously, or are they just going to be like, oh, there's just something good like going on here? Because I'm sure you've met people like that too. You don't know what's going on, but you're like, this is good. So it's going to be like an amazing, just this evolving, expanding change that just ripples through all parts of your life. It'll be fantastic. So good. And yeah, so I invite you to just take a few deep breaths, and yeah, you can close your eyes if you want. You don't have to, of course. It's entirely up to you. Just make these changes, because you know what these changes are. And even the parts of these changes that you don't know what they are, you can just make those changes. You can just like let it happen. It's all good, just all comes together. Has a way of organizing itself, because the system is intelligent. You are an intelligent system. You're not just an intelligent person, although that's true too, but your entire system knows what this change is, what this means to you. Yeah, you notice that your right hand is sort of doing something on its own. Don't know if you're even consciously aware of that. That looks like the sort of thing that your hand just knows what's going on. It knows what it's doing. And it can just keep making those changes. The more that hand just sort of dances and moves on its own, the more it can just all sort of come together. And that's how you know these changes are going deep. And that's how you know that this is all happening. And it's going to happen so automatically too. That's the beautiful thing about this. So automatic. Like you can choose to be aware of just how good these changes will be, or you can just let the changes happen as you go deep. And that's it. So good, so good. And I'll let you to just let all of that happen in your system. And yeah, the other hand's getting involved too. That's fun. Doesn't want to miss out on any of the excitement. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And your hands will continue to do what they're doing, and at some point everything will settle down. And you know what, that'll be the right time to open your eyes, because everything, there you are. I'll come back. How was that? Yeah.
That's quite cool.
Awesome, cool. Looks quite good. Looks like you've still got some stuff going on, which is really
Seems
nice.
like.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, it's a really nice change, and you can begin to enjoy that even now. And yeah, I'll like you to just like loosen up a little bit. That's it. And then you just like look into my eyes. Oh, there it is. There it goes. And then when you're ready, just close your eyes. That's it. Just like all the way down. That's it. Just nice and deep. And let those changes go really deep all the way down. That's it. Really relax fully. That's it. All the way down. That's so good. And in your own time, there's no rush in this. Take all the time that you need over the next few moments. Just let all of that just come through. And again, you'll know when the right time is to open your eyes, and it'll just be so good. Because when you open your eyes, you'll see things with a fresh perspective. You'll be looking with new eyes. It's a new mind with new changes behind it. And it's just going to be all of this good stuff. And you'll know that it's good. You'll know that it's right. Because the urge to open your eyes will be irresistible. It's going to be so good. Yeah. Yeah, your posture returning normal. There's no rush. It's all going to happen as it happens. Yeah. Cool. Welcome back. I trust that was a wonderful experience for you.
It
was.
Excellent.
Thank
It was
you.
a wonderful experience for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll invite you to take your seat. That's it. Oh, cool stuff. Yeah. So hypnosis, you've seen it before, you've experienced it before, you've done it before. But, you know, every hypnotic experience is unique. And that certainly was. That was really quite cool. Well, I can't just have one person having a hypnotic experience because that wouldn't be fair to the rest of you. Who else is feeling like they want to join? I could have guessed. Round of applause. Yeah. Thanks, mate. Yeah, how are you doing?
Doing good.
Awesome.
I was already trancing out, so I'm already halfway there.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. Would you be comfortable standing? Would you like a stool to sit on? Or
Stool.
yeah, love it. I'd like you to take a seat in whatever way is most comfortable to you. And you know, there are people watching, and you can be aware of them or not, whatever's good for you. And just settle in, and yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And at any point, if you feel, yeah, that's right, you can just be guided by this experience. Yeah, very good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just do what comes naturally in this moment. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, very good. And of course, if you were to close your eyes right now, you would just go so deep. Yeah, that's it. All the way. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's it. And of course here, you know, is this powerful, transformative space. The deep wisdom of the unconscious. Yeah. The primal intelligence that somehow both runs your body on a cellular level and is so connected to the world around you. Yeah. So maybe this unconscious intelligence has a gift for you. Some beautiful experience or a change. Or some really nice moment that you can simply enjoy. And because this is so deep and so useful to you, you can take all the time to unconsciously work through whatever this is, to cultivate whatever this is. And only when that feels complete for now, I'll invite you to return into the room. And you'll know that some deep change for the better has taken place. because you won't open your eyes until you've done that. And until then, simply breathe. That's it. And allow it all to just do what it does best. Yeah, that's it. Feel that change and know that there's even more than you can feel. When you open your eyes, you're going to see things with a fresh perspective. It's going to be so good. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, fantastic. Welcome back. Thanks, mate. How was that?
That was incredible.
Awesome. Awesome. Is there anything that you want to share with the group about that, or is that?
You'll see it later.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Look forward to that. All right. Thanks, mate. I'll invite you to take your seat. So, 2 hypnotic experiences. On the one hand, they're both quite normal. Like, again, you've done things like that before, and you've experienced things like that before. And yet, at the same time, they were both quite unusual. Yeah, I wonder what that's about. I wonder if you've noticed what was unusual. So why don't you take a moment, form a pair, form a group of 3, form small groups, whatever makes sense, and bless you, and have a chat about that experience. I'll invite you 2 to be in separate groups because you were both up here. What was different about this compared to typical hypnosis? What did I do in each of those and both of those that was quite unusual? So I'll invite you to form your groups, have that conversation, and we'll check back in a few minutes.
Because you're an observer, is there anything you noticed which was unusual to what you feel hypnosis was?
Experience you guys. Well,
Is or in pattern from those 2 together? Is there anything you noticed?
With the quick instruction down. So with Shaq it was kind of like there's like head and shoulders and hand.
Ah, interesting. Interesting.
Whereas
Okay.
with you we started as a slam, but with you basically straight away was like changes. Okay,
Didn't even look like that much really. Just yeah, you know. It was like connecting to
not
the
completely my experience of hypnosis is just
connection to unconscious
which I know is like a style that like some people, especially I think you were telling me about like
and then the second time
that it just doesn't like but like this, it's not force, it's not like
that's
kind of like typical like
Yeah.
slow down, like deeper time, like going to trance to
Interesting. One common pattern which I noticed between both is the fact that
and Will was just very like
both the
conversational.
problem statement, in my case, it was, is there anything I want to change?
Like Lee,
Right?
it was like, it was like he was going,
It was non-verbal, the problem statement was from within,
you were going
and
out.
everything was happening just,
interesting.
the entire change was done by the person who was on the other end.
Will was going
Yes.
there before you were.
The second one, exactly the same,
On both.
is once, again,
Oh, okay.
once the difference between me and him was, for me it started immediately, because it started with future basing, change, identify future basing,
And it was
and then it went into hypnotic
There's different
thing. Whereas for Shai, it went into first hypnosis, and then things emerged for Shai. But for a friend, it came from within, number one, everything was done by the same person, and the facilitator was just to create the space to lead the direction of thinking and feeling.
So it
So
was definitely sameness in terms of
there was no
any indication
input needed
that
from
there was unconscious
Shai.
activity going
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
It was
that
like,
was
yes,
the common
common pattern
like
forming.
it
It was just
encouraging
internal
Yeah.
self-experience.
anytime
was
I'd like
leading
look
it.
outside or whatever,
Yeah.
shack. It was
and the
using
pace.
that.
Yes. And the pacing bit as well, for Shai, it was non-verbal pacing. It was verbal a bit, but it was.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
For you, you
For
mentioned the
me,
hands.
it was
with
everything, and it was pacing
Shaq,
through my
with,
experience and
yeah.
stuff. So
like when it's irresistible to open
there is
it,
this
stick your
thing
eyes
in the
closed.
Mhm.
It was
it's
this
not
kind
like,
of
well, that you do something to us, right? You lead them, you tell them
like it
and
has
stuff.
to be
But-
like wildly desirable to open your eyes.
It could be self-emergent for Shai as well. He was seeing
It was a
something
wireframe that
and he was
you could
reinforcing
still have
that
this, like,
it was happening.
when the changes quickly.
Yeah.
Really
I
open your
found
eyes,
that
it was
very
not
interesting,
conscious, it was
like,
very
just to
like,
be saying.
just to open your eyes, but just be annoyed.
Just went by the person
I know,
completely.
that was really cool.
Oh yeah,
I've
that was
seen
cool.
that
Did you notice that as well?
Sorry.
Did you notice that as well?
I zoned out.
Another minute or two, folks.
He's in trance.
How's your internal experience like?
Both of them started with eyes.
I didn't have
open,
too much time to think, which was good.
So
Which
you
means
went
that
open
it just
Deep both.
I let things emerge as it emerges.
Which is
rather
interesting
than
because Shaq had his eyes
things go
closed already,
So
but then
Yeah.
what did his
Well, that
like,
went
okay,
in
close your eyes kind of frame.
down
And then
really deep.
Oh, that was just
open and then
it was
close that
fractionation
frame,
from a
close your eyes.
hypnosis perspective. So future
So I
pacing and
wonder if
then
there's something from
How
hypnosis.
regardless of
How did you experience that?
presence.
It just gave me permission to go deep.
So it's
It was just that I was
It's
getting there,
like
getting there, and it was just because I knew that there was this
It's
reason.
very minimal.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Anything else you noticed?
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
that's time. Please thank your partners and find your seats.
Brush your teeth.
Mhm. So, I'm curious as to what you noticed.
And it was like minimal hypnosis.
Yeah,
How minimal it was.
yeah. Excellent observation. Yeah. Is there anything else that's standing out to you about that? Or
Anytime there was any indication of unconscious activity, it was heavily encouraged.
yes, excellent. I'm so glad you noticed that. Yes, with Jai up here, that was, as you say, very minimalist. Mostly you did the work, and I did like a little bit of suggesting here and there, but mostly it was just like, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Which is quite a wild hypnosis technique. Just calibrate to what they're doing. It reminds me of, I'm pretty sure he was a Russian. It sounds like something that only a Russian could do. But he was the sort of guy who'd be put into like circus arenas or like animal pens and stuff with like vicious animals, lions, tigers, bears, oh my. And they'd be curious or they'd be aggressive, and then all of a sudden they just fall asleep. Like they'd stop attacking him. And people ask like, what are you doing? Like, you're secretly tranquilizing them? It's like, no, I just see how the animal relaxes and then I get them to do that. It's like, cool. Well, that raises further questions, but it's exactly this. Not to call you an animal, of course, except in the primal intelligence sort of way. Yes, but yeah, you were. You said as you came up, you're already halfway into trance. Beautiful, and sitting there, comfortable in the hypnotic context. You're already like going into trance. I don't have to do anything, which is a nice contrast to say the Ericksonian model, which is very much about the language. You know, you use language and you use voice in certain ways. Beautiful stuff. You all know how good that is. You've all experienced that. But what's Ericksonian about? Yeah. Like half the time my tone wasn't even all that, yeah. Like just, yeah. Sometimes it was. I did cheat a little bit. But yeah, language, extraordinarily useful tool for a hypnotist, entirely optional. How funny is that? And what else did people notice?
I noticed that there was a really quick, and it was different in both times, but a really quick like instruction to go deeper.
Mm.
So with Shaq, it was hand on shoulder, hand on back of neck, and then just down.
Yeah.
And then with Jai, there was no physical touch. It was just kind of like this gesture. Even though his eyes were closed, you were like, and this, and his head went, oof.
Yes.
But similarly, on the way out, you had this really strong, I was going to say intense, it's not intense, it was a really strong frame of, there's a part of you that knows when to open your eyes. It was not a conscious invitation, it was a very unconscious one, and specifically with the change in mind. So a part of you will know to open your eyes when and only when the change is complete. There was a completeness frame in there.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
I'm so glad you noticed that. That is something I picked up along the way, and it's extraordinarily useful. Do you have any sort of inklings as to why? And it's okay if you don't.
Well, all of it was like context free. You were like, there was this elicitation of change without context. So I imagine, I'm guessing, that there was change process going on, but because it was context free, it could only be facilitated by their unconscious minds, which you were facilitating the whole time, all the way in and while they were under. So, like, I think my suspicion is just that you were giving the unconscious mind the option to complete the change in its own time. So that's my present guess.
Yeah, and it's an excellent guess. Very accurate. I will rarely want to get someone out of process. I want them to get out of process, guided by the unconscious. And part of that is because coming out of the trance is part of going into the trance and creating the change work. There's this really nice thing I like to do with my audio recordings, some of which I could possibly dig up and put back up on my websites. But yeah, I used to sell guided hypnotic experiences, and there'd be this really cool thing where, induction, someone goes in and then I'm like guiding them through the induction, and there'd be this part where like they're holding their attention loosely, but not wandering off too much. And then deep in this process, it's like, okay, great, you're completed now, you're done, like excellent work. And then in the process of guiding them back into normal everyday waking state, that's when I start doing the suggestions, the embedded commands and things as they're coming out of the trance. And because there's a few reasons why I like that. One of them is that at that point, like the process is done. I've explicitly said that. All sort of attention and care and awareness just disappears. It's like, it's like you can lower your hands now. Oh, cool, process is done. At that point, the person you're working with is the most open, one of the most open points in the process. Put the suggestions in there.
Cool.
Yeah, so good instinct catching that up. But yeah, the whole idea of coming out of a trance as change work, that's just some beautiful stuff. Big fan.
Very cool.
Yeah. Anything else?
Everything that happened everything that happened was internal to the person who was doing it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously there's content free. However, there is always, in both the contexts, there was this frame of using the evidence of what you're seeing, which is what I was telling, but using that as a trigger point to make things happen. Like there's a trigger which is factually true, which is leading to something which could be suggestive and giving permission for further. So it was this continuous trigger-based.
Yes, really good stuff. Any hypnosis training worth its salt is going to have this as an idea where the person's system is going to respond. With you, it was dramatic and it was quick. The hand started dancing, and it's like, that's not a conscious movement. That is clearly like your body is expressing itself somehow. And draw attention to that. It's classic utilization. I made the assumption that that was related to the change work process. It might not have been until I made that assumption, and then it was. So either it was or I made it so. Either way, I win. Yeah, good catch. Yeah. Anything else that was unusual? And if you need to constrain your attention, which is what I did with Shaq.
I thought it was unusual that you did it standing up.
Okay.
Not that we normally do it that way. You can, but
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that's a bit interesting that he's standing up. That was my. And then you split it in two, like you future paced it, and then you look into my eyes.
Yeah.
And the physical aspect, which I think we're not encouraged so much to do as well.
Yeah.
So to me, that was.
Yeah. So the standing up, it's useful to be flexible. So yeah, because if you're doing street hypnosis for whatever reason, you're going to be working with people standing up. So that's really cool knowing how to do that. I'm glad that you picked up on the eyes thing. When did I do that?
Well, he didn't start with it. He did it when he was already in the process coming out, like you said, at that end point.
Yeah.
And you fractionated it when deeper.
I definitely fractionated. That's definitely part of why I did that. But like I promised you some things that were a little bit unusual in hypnosis. Like look into my eyes and sleep is not that unusual. It's a signature move. It's not quite as cliche as the pocket watch. You're getting sleepy, but it's up there. But why did I do what was weird about how I did that? What was unusual? What was unconventional? What was a little bit different?
In the process, like a lot of, and I don't know, I'm not familiar with street hypnosis, so I'm guessing again. But I imagine that usually happens earlier than when you did it. Like you kind of did it while he was like under, like it wasn't even a part of the way down.
Yes.
It was like while he was there, and it kind of went so trance, like plateau, and then like more.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
And I don't know, like if that's the shape. Like, let me know if I'm not recognizing it correctly.
That was the basic shape. So that is correct. Slightly incomplete because what did I do? I started with a future pace, and then I did change work, and then I did the induction.
Oh, cool.
You reversed it.
I reversed it because why not? Like if you're just starting out and you're getting like your reps in, absolutely, like do it the normal way. You do the induction while they're under, you do the change work, and then you bring them out and you future pace it. Like beautiful stuff. But who says you have to do it that way? I once read, I heard some training from a hypnotist. Would never recommend this for anyone, but this guy was clearly ambitious, intelligent, and a little bit unhinged in the best way. He learned hypnosis from a book. Terrible, terrible. Don't recommend that. And like that's the main reason why I haven't written a hypnosis book, despite writing like 24 books at this point. None of them are about how to do hypnosis. It's because you don't learn it from a book. This guy did, and the first time he did any hypnosis with any other human being, he was on stage as a stage hypnotist doing a comedy show. He'd never hypnotized anyone until he was being paid in front of an audience to do things.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Like, imagine the sort of like mind you'd have to, like spine, it was like spine made of steel. And it worked. But a guy came up to him and it's like, you're doing things wrong, you're doing things wrong. And this hypnotist thought he was one of these people who's like, hypnosis is wrong because, they've seen the movies where it's like dark voodoo nonsense, whatever. But no, the audience member was complaining because, he he did the stuff and then did the induction afterwards. It's like, that's not how you do hypnosis. You do the induction and then you do the stuff, the suggestions. I did the induction at the end. I could have skipped it entirely. Because what purpose did it serve apart from enriching your experience? Like, I could have easily stopped before the whole look into my eyes and sleep thing. But I didn't, because I'm being mischievous, I'm being fun, I'm being experimental. And to my knowledge, I've never done that as a sequence before. Never started with future pacing, that's wild. And then going straight into the change work without doing like any sort of induction, like that's something else entirely. And then to end with a classic induction, definitely never done that. But you can. You absolutely can. It works perfectly well. You can do things in whatever sequence you want. If you wanted to do change work with someone and all you did was a series of inductions, like instant inductions or slow inductions or whatever, and you did nothing else, they're gonna get some benefit out of that. And like if you had a conversation with someone, it was like pure future pacing with nothing else. Wouldn't that be the most amazing conversation if it's done artfully? At some point you might be like, okay, I'm a bit too hyped up. I want to just like get out there and like tackle this thing, like whatever. But like that would be an amazing piece of change work. You can also just assume that everyone's already in a trance and just start doing hypnotic change work before even doing any of that stuff. Because, like the arm movement, you assume that it's true, and it's either true already, or you make it true by assuming that it's true. Like, why not? Yeah, so there are all these rules around hypnosis, and if you've heard any of the stories around with Milton Erickson, you'll know that like he was studying psychology, and at the time, hypnosis was a very, very infant science, very, very confused. And so his professors would say, with hypnosis, this is possible, but this is impossible. And then he'd come back next week, he's like, I did that. It's like there are no rules with this stuff. There are guidelines for like safety and ethics and things, and obviously those are important to maintain. But as to how you do this, like the education is useful in order to be like, this is possible. Like I can hypnotize someone. That is a phenomenal experience to have. And so the training that I've received, most of them started with just like straight up the look into my eyes and sleep. Even the conversational hypnosis stuff. You don't do that in a conversation, but you have this felt experience of hypnotizing someone. And that is profound. And that is why I don't recommend learning from a book, because you don't get that experience. But the experience is the point. The experience is the valuable lesson. Once you've hypnotized enough people, enough times, you're like, oh, so I can do this. I know what it feels like. I know when Jai breathes in a certain way, that's almost certainly some sort of unconscious trance experience. Cool. However I get to that is valid. And a lot of the time, it's going to emerge naturally. So why not use it? All of these rules, all of these things about how you should do things, challenge every single one of them, except for the ethics and the safety. Everything else, like do it backwards, do it upside down, like do it inside out. It's all going to work because it's all like the same. It's the same psychology at play here. So I'll invite you to try that at some point, and I look forward to hearing about the interesting, quirky, fascinating, and helpful results that you get from that.